Okay, welcome back. Let's get right back to it for part 6, segment 6 of episode 1. Let's try to get through all this and conclude here with this episode. We left off talking about Robert Mueller and Comey and Clapper, and it was Robert Mueller and James Clapper and James Comey and the rest of the deep intelligence community that is above the law. They are the ones that have no consequences, apparently, and can spy on us and do whatever they want. And so it was Edward Snowden. The irony for him was that these guys, Clapper and Comey and Mueller, are all guilty of what he's being charged with. So they're the guilty parties of Snowden's discoveries, and they are still in charge. Why? Why are they still in charge? I mean, come on. They were unmasked by Snowden, so to speak. So they're still in charge because Obama wanted all the corruptible players at the table. So they continue, that way they can continue to fix the game even after Obama's departure. Just like the 334 liberal judges that Obama appointed to keep his agenda going and to obstruct the incoming administration's efforts. Same thing. These intelligence agencies, their hierarchy, have their own agendas. And again, we may never know their real motives. And because that is what they do. They hide. They keep, they know where all the bodies are buried. They got all, they have all the skeletons in their closets. So, come on, folks. I mean, these people are all connected to each other. And again, this is just the interconnection of more rotten apples. And they all have one goal in mind. Right now, that goal is to eliminate the threat to them. Just like Kennedy was a threat to the CIA, Trump is a threat to these intelligence agents. And, again, there are a lot of people within the intelligence agencies that are good American, citizens, but some of these creeps that are running the intelligence agencies may not be. So, again, the enemy of your enemy and all that. And so Obama, Clinton, and the intelligence communities, the media, and the entire left-wing radical anti-American citizens movement are all aligned to destroy our president so that they can reassume the power and continue their evil plan to create a new America like we see in Chicago, where everyone gets a pass. If they're a criminal or if they're here illegally, that is. Okay, again, history repeats itself, and we are witnessing in real time the next big left-wing movement. Okay, that's what we're seeing. That's what the violence is all about. And this movement is to take back the power from the opposition, and even if they must use the force that we've seen, and intimidation and violence and even killing if necessary, and if that's what it takes for them to achieve their goals. As we have previously pointed out with the former leftist movements that murder the innocent in the name of, quote, social justice. This AA movement, the anti-American movement, looks like Nazis to me. And the signs are all there, folks. Just like in the 1930s. Okay, I know how this is going to sound again. But here, just stay with me here for a little while longer and let me point this out. Okay, this is a fact. There were hateful propaganda campaigns from the Nazi Party against one group of people, just as we have today. One group of people are creating hateful propaganda campaigns against one party. So there were violent attacks on citizens by brown shirts, just as we see today with the so-called anti-fascists and the so-called resistance. Okay? They're a mass. They're the same. So, there were silencings of people, thoughts, and expression, just as we have today. There was the removal of certain literature from academia, just as we have today. Okay, folks? The correlations are scary. There were social cues set to trigger dog whistles alerting these so-called social warriors, citizens movements, just as we have today. So that previous movement morphed into the Nazi Party. And this movement has morphed into an anti-American citizens movement, just as we are seeing today when we look at the reality of the situation on the ground, as they say. Boots on the ground, folks. Okay? With all of these organized protests that are being funded by radicals from the left in order to create a climate of chaos, division, and unrest. Okay? That's what's going on here. And that's what One Eye News is giving you. We're giving you the truth about what these movements and these marches and all of this chaos is about. Okay, why is it happening? This is why, folks. And while using these unwitting AAs, anti-American citizens that participate in hateful violence by their misguided belief that they are somehow ridding the world of these evil Jews. Oops. I mean, these evil Trump supporters. Slip of the tongue there, folks. What can I say? I meant these evil Trump supporters, all right? But it's, again, the correlations are scary, okay? I went off on a bit of a side road there, so let's return to the topic at hand, and that is the unprecedented collusion being allowed to take place right now with all of the players investigating President Trump, okay? This is unprecedented collusion. Okay, all you have to do is look at all of the interchangeable pieces. Again, they're just switching rotten apples from place to place. And beginning with the fact that Comey basically appointed Mueller by illegally leaking government documents in order to trigger that special prosecutor, as he admitted blatantly on camera. And just, hey, yeah, I obstructed justice and I did this and I did that and I did it illegally and yeah, what are you going to do to me? I don't give a shit. What are you going to do, huh? That's what he's saying to you guys. That's what he's saying to us guys. And that's not cool. So, he knew who this special prosecutor was going to be. And, I would wager that they probably already sat around planning this coup d'etat, meaning Comey and Mueller. They probably sat around and dreamed this up and said, hey, let's do this, let's do that. As a matter of fact, there was a report that Mueller okayed Comey's testimony. He previewed the testimony. Okay, again, I don't know, none of us are going to get these breaks, folks. And Comey admitted to breaking the law in order to get a special prosecutor because his feelings were hurt? Come on. There's a lot more to it than that, though. Comey is a slimy swamp monster along with Mueller and Clapper. That's it, folks. I mean, that's just the facts. Let's just dig our heads out of the sand on that one. Let's look at all three of those individuals and go look at their actions. Look at what they do and look at what they said. Clapper, man, he got caught lying years ago and he's still around. I mean, why? Why are these people still around who have been deceiving and manipulating our people for years, and they need to go away, period. They need to go, okay? They are violating the basic rules by ignoring them, as usual. The rules clearly state that any special prosecutor must immediately recuse themselves if they ever had a personal relationship with any witnesses involved in any investigations, period. That's it. So, that's why you saw Jeff Sessions recuse himself, because unlike these creeps, Jeff Sessions, Trump might not like it because now it's it come back to bite him, but, he followed the law unlike these people. And, and now Trump's saying, look, maybe you shouldn't have recused yourself. I wish you wouldn't have done that. And he's just the guy, like I said, he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think Sessions is still a good pick for that job, but, you know, we'll see what happens. But just again, as we saw with Clinton, the rules do not apply to the swamp creatures like Mueller and Comey and the deep state intelligence agents. They manipulate the laws to exile and or destroy their opposition because they can't win fair and square, as Trump showed. They are cheaters and sore losers, and they are the hall monitors that lie to get the other kids in trouble. It's that simple, you know. They're the RA. I mean, come on. So they are actually the perpetrators of the Espionage Act themselves. They are, you know, they're the perpetrators of this Espionage Act that they're charging Snowden with. So that's the irony for Edward Snowden. Although a lot of people may not agree with what he did, but he did expose the truth. So, I mean, you got to weigh that, you know. Well, what do you like? You like the truth, or you like to be lied to and, you know, pissed on your head and told it's raining? You know, you got to make that choice for yourself. I like the truth myself. So, I mean, you know, and that is the very crime that they themselves are guilty of, and this is a pattern that we have come to recognize with these guys. Now, all the same players that began this lie that was perpetrated on the American people are right back at it again. So what is going on with Mueller and Comey and Clapper, who are all guilty of this original espionage action against the people, you know, after 9/11? And now here we are, they're all conspiring to frame our president. Okay, that's what's going on, folks. You know, it's simple to see. So let's move on from them and let's go to Susan Rice, who is guilty of unmasking on orders from Obama. Okay, let's just tell it like it is. Obama gave the order, folks. Water runs downhill. All right? And so does shit. So we don't even need to hear the evidence. And we may never be able to because we know she's guilty, but Obama hid the evidence. And she knows she's guilty. And Obama knows she's guilty. And that's why he hid the evidence. Right? I mean, again, it's pretty transparent to me because I see this guy for who he is. I know that a lot of you do too, but there's half the country who are still in this Svengali spell and they can't seem to get their head out of the fog. So, anyways, you know, Rice, she may have to fall on her own sword for Obama this time, but I doubt it. You know, she's guilty of the Bo Bergdahl thing, and she's been breaking the law for years now for Obama. And maybe she will be caught this time. But again, I doubt it, since they hid all those documents and evidence in his library for the next 5 years. And this again is obstruction of justice. Geez, come on. There are still many Obama operatives inside the State Department and inside the White House working against President Trump right now to bring him down. And they will find a way to give Rice a pass, just like Clinton. And they will do the same with Loretta Lynch, even though she is seriously compromised and a criminal. And that is clear. But, you know, they'll plead the fifth or they'll do that. They won't answer the question. Who knows what they'll come up with. They'll come up with some way to get themselves, wrangle their little nooses out of the neck. Their necks out of the nooses, excuse me. And anyways, you know, they're all criminals. And, you know, that's clear to anybody who is looking at this. And they've all engaged in illegal, un-American, and anti-American activities. Look, I hope I'm wrong, but this is how they operate. I hope they get caught, but I know they probably will get away. And you know, I'm rarely wrong about these things, but I'm really hoping this time I'm wrong. One set of laws for you and I, and no laws applicable whatsoever to Obama and his band of anti-American operatives, or to the Democratic Party altogether, apparently. Okay. Before we move on and expose another list of facts that are anti-American actions and policies taken by our former president, I will explain how and why General Flynn was unmasked and targeted by the Obama administration for a frame-up. Okay, I promised that I would expose that, and we will. I'll begin by pointing out that General Flynn attempted to give Obama very important intel and the best possible options and strategies to defeat our enemies in the Middle East, as did many other generals, I might add. While advising the president on the correct strategies, the president refused to listen to any of the generals, not just Flynn, okay? Now, if everybody can remember back to that time, he was getting rid of people left and right that disagreed with him. Okay, that's just a fact. And we can, again, we can do 20 hours on this guy because we can go through every document and get all these documents and all these facts. But, you know, let's stick to this right now. Flynn was just he was just the guy that rocked the boat and questioned why on earth would we ever adopt a policy that emboldens and assists our enemies. Okay? And for that, he was removed. That's it. Plain and simple. He questioned Obama's agenda and recognized it as an un-American position. Or at least he recognized that his policies were leading to the death of American soldiers. And so he challenged Obama's position. And again, as I pointed out, Obama's ego is bigger than President Trump's, as proven by his actions. One Eye News will lay out for the people why Obama did this to Flynn. And it was not the first time Obama has attacked other American citizens for questioning him, or defying him for that matter. There are many documented instances, but we will start with this one because I want to point this out. Nobody had really seen this from the perspective that we are about to present. We'll have to go back to 2008 and after Obama vacated his Senate seat. After Obama became president, he immediately began abusing his power. And when his Senate seat was open, we learned of a guy named Rod Blagojevich who was attempting to sell Obama's Senate seat for his own personal gain. Everybody remember Blagojevich? Well, he was caught on tape discussing the fact that he, and his quote was, "I got this thing and it's effing golden." Okay? Obama learned, he heard about the tape. I don't know, maybe it was the unmasking that was going on. And so Obama learned of the tape, and then Blagojevich was what? Unmasked, so to speak, and exposed on the tape. Thus leading to Blagojevich losing his position and then being locked away for 14 years for trying to best Obama. Okay? Obama takes things very personally. Sound familiar? Obama would jail Flynn if he had the chance. Okay, folks? This is why it went down like it did. Obama was pissed that Blagojevich tried to snake that seat out from under him because Obama already had plans to put his operative in that seat. Okay? Simple. On a side note, before I get into that, I just have to ask, why does Valerie Jarrett live with the Obamas? This is creepy, folks. Now, we must consider the possibility Obama wants to keep his number one operative close in order to, eliminate any possibility that she will or could reveal his secrets or turn on him or inadvertently say something wrong. Who knows? Or something creepy. Either that or it's something creepy. Okay, let's get back to Blagojevich. I just thought about that, so I needed to mention it. You see, Blagojevich, he was greedy, and he tried to take that seat for himself, which was a big monkey wrench to the Obama agenda. So Obama unmasked him and locked him up for 14 years, period. You can see the pattern here, folks. And the pattern is spying on the opposition and anyone for that matter. And that's what Obama has been doing since day one. And we know, as we know, from the material we just discussed, that Obama had all those tools in his toolbox, thanks to Mueller, Comey, and Clapper, and the rest of them. So Obama was never going to let Flynn get that spot in the new administration. Since Flynn challenged Obama, that was never going to happen. He was just not going to have it. And you don't challenge a self-proclaimed messiah who struts around like he owns the world unless you want to face the wrath. Okay? You saw what he did to Blagojevich. So anyways, it's simple. Flynn challenged Obama's agenda and questioned why he would implement a policy that was bad for America. And it appears that Flynn got screwed, and Obama will just get away with that now because he hid the evidence in his library for the next 5 years, folks. I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that that evidence will never see the light of day, and it will mysteriously disappear, if it hasn't already. And the library isn't even built, so how can he hide it in there? I don't believe the library's built, so where's the library? Come on. Let's get those documents. All right, the irony and the hypocrisy is that Blagojevich is locked up for trying to manipulate that seat, and Obama was trying to do the same thing. So Obama put Blagojevich in jail for doing the same thing Obama intended to do. Again, Obama also threatened reporters. Okay, now just real quick, since all of that happened, Obama was unable to insert his operative in that seat. I just wanted to point that out, I believe. So anyhow, let's move on. Obama also threatened reporters that were trying to vet him and or that questioned his positions. Okay, this is a fact, folks. President Obama is responsible for the largest attack on the free press in our American history. Okay, that is a fact. Mr. Obama and his Justice Department and the FBI prosecuted 3 times more cases than all the other presidents combined, which only prosecuted 3 cases in 232 years, and Obama prosecuted 9 in 8 years. So I would say there's ample evidence that Obama silenced anyone who opposes his positions and policies. And not only those silencings, but a lot of other intimidations as well. So Obama, he also spied on these journalists in order to threaten them with jail time. He even labeled one of them an unindicted co-conspirator in a criminal case just for reporting, just for doing his job. So this is another reason why the freedom of press disappeared under Obama as well. Just as, I'm going to point out again, just as it did in 1930s Germany, folks, I might add, okay? Thus silencing the freedom of press and sending a message to any press that might cross Obama and his anti-American agenda. Okay? He also issued subpoenas to force journalists to reveal their sources. We all know that journalists don't want to reveal their sources, and, this would endanger their lives. But Obama did not care. And how can any journalist ever get sources if a president is forcing them to expose them and putting them and their families' lives in danger? Okay, folks, that's Obama. That's what he did. That's not Trump. Trump just told the media, hey, you guys are liars, and I'm going to tell everybody until you stop lying. And that's all Trump did, and they can't stand it. Anyways, these are not the actions of a patriot putting media's families' lives in danger. Rather, these are the actions of an anti-American citizen and an anti-American president. Folks, suppressing our media assisted Obama to carry out his anti-American agenda. This, again, is anti-American, and we should all recognize this. And having said that, the media is currently accusing President Trump of being a white nationalist because he advocates for Western civilization, not for white people. He advocates for Western civilization. And they are making this claim with zero evidence to confirm their claim, unlike the evidence that One Eye News has been exposing as it's about to present right here and now, that will outline and confirm the acts of an anti-American president and provide the truth for the American people. Just because someone was once a president and was never exposed, investigated, or prosecuted the way they are trying to do to our current president does not exempt our former president from being scrutinized, investigated, prosecuted, and convicted. if necessary, and I believe it is. Now, right now, I mean, we have a mountain of evidence against Obama, Clinton, Lynch, Rice, Comey, Mueller, the media, and many other collaborators as well, okay, that have all colluded and conspired with the DNC and others to sabotage our elections, our president, and our America, okay? And any others who covered up and leaked and on. All these folks, all right? Now, they're all guilty. And all you got to do is connect the dots, folks. And these are all the folks, these are all the people who are the anti-American so-called leaders that are perpetrating these anti-American actions on our citizens and on our country. Just because Obama was the president does not mean he gets a pass. Does it? Question mark. Apparently it does. Because all of his un-American and anti-American associates, they do as well. And like the press, for instance, they get the pass too, I guess. They could just run around saying whatever they want, whenever they want. And there's nobody holding their feet to the fire, so to speak. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hold their feet to the fire, Obama's feet to the fire, while they're trying to hold our current president's feet to the fire for nothing. Okay? So, again, we'll get to all that. But fact, President Obama appointed 334 extreme liberal judges that promote his agenda, and that is why the both the 4th and 9th Circuit courts, they're basically worthless, folks. Come on. Let's be honest. There's no real law being performed there. Okay, fact. Obama again obstructed justice when he locked up all of the evidence in his library before the authorities could retrieve the documents to convict Rice. Okay? It's just a fact. Rice tried to blame it on the fact that she's a woman and a victim of her race and or gender. Okay? Again, these people are unbelievable. Rice tries, every time they try to play the gender card or the race card or any card they can pull out of their ass. Okay? The irony here for Rice is, first she tried to play the gender card. However, it was a woman who broke the story. So, I'm not buying it. Alright, Rice? Go back to the drawing board because your story stinks. As we say, the fish stinks from the head down. Obama. Okay, the Circa News and Sarah Carter and John Solomon broke the story on Rice. And these are two of the best reporters in the field today. Okay, and two of the most accurate, reliable, honest people who are reporting the news today. Okay, the anti-American activity can also be determined when Mueller became the director of the FBI and he immediately began spying on the country. Okay, that's not America. Again, we know that's like Russia or something like that, right? Isn't that what they do over there? That's what I thought. Okay, but I didn't think that's what America was, but apparently it is. Americans, we must realize that Mueller and Comey have both been spying on us this entire time. I mean, maybe we don't have anything they really are interested in, but maybe somebody somewhere does. And maybe you're going to get caught up or swept up in that mess someday. And anyways, they've been spying on their own adversaries within America to get dirt on them. And they most likely have dirt on all these politicians that are lying down. So now Comey and Mueller can destroy our president. And again, there was an increase of masking of over 300% beginning in 2011 until after the election. That was beginning in 2011. So all the spying and unmasking up until that point must have been a vast amount. And then 300% increase. Come on, folks. Look at them numbers. Everything's math again. This again was done in 2015 in an attempt to get dirt on then candidate Trump. So if we look at the two individuals at the FBI that were in charge of these anti-American actions, then its simple deduction and reasoning will confirm that Mueller and Comey are not true professionals like the media has dubbed them and tried to label them. They're not respectful of America and our rules. Why are they in charge? Why are they in power positions? Okay, these rules apply to all citizens. Why do they not apply to them and their cohorts? Rather they are both unethical, immoral, unprofessional, co-conspirators in many anti-American activities. So yes, I am calling out the last two FBI directors for being anti-American, for spying on us. And I don't think that I'm out of line for doing that. So, just as with the Scooter Libby situation and the witch hunt that they led back then, which when they knew there was nothing, they already knew who was the guilty party, but they spent 3 years and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And, come on, folks. These are slime balls and they're part of the swamp. So right now they're grasping at straws and throwing Hail Marys. But all they can ever find, all these spies, so-called, quote, either they're incompetent spies or there's nothing there. Because all they could ever find on Trump were a couple of disgruntled contractors, and anybody who's ever done construction, the contractors, hey, some contractors don't do that good of work. And if they ain't going to do that good of work, you ain't going to pay them. So that's the way it goes. And, they found an overweight beauty queen contest winner. And then some old tape from NBC with Billy Bush. Okay, that's it. So the spies come up empty. And I'll tell you why, folks. Because, like I said before, either spies are incompetent or there's nothing there. And the fact is, there's nothing there. Period. If there was anything there, then it would have been splashed all over your TV months ago. Right? You know that. It's that simple, folks. They can't find nothing on this guy because, again, he's squeaky clean. They hate to admit it, but they'll never admit it. And, okay, fact. In 2013, Bradley/Chelsea Manning committed treason, and Obama pardoned him/her or commuted the sentence of a convicted traitor to America. Okay? Why? I'll tell you why. Manning is a hero to Obama and his operatives, that have been destroying our country for the past 8 years. Fact. Now, this goes a little bit off. 7,500 people die in America every year. 20 people per day. All by unlicensed drivers in America. And the fact is, the majority of these 7,500 people's deaths are caused by illegal immigrant drivers. That is a fact. How did these illegal immigrants get here? Why are they here killing our people on our roads? 7,500 people a year? Okay, do the math on 9/11. That's double 9/11 every year, folks, from illegal immigrant drivers. Okay, now the majority of those, 20 a day, are killed by illegal immigrant drivers. Let's just say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and let's say half. So 10 per day. Okay, still. Okay, 10 per day, folks. Are we okay with that? I don't think so. Fact, Obama allowed dozens of admitted MS-13 gang members into our country. That is a fact. Obama signed off and allowed these people and then housed them. He allowed them in. And then he housed them on our dime. And then he also placed them around the country in sanctuary cities, and now they are killing our children. Okay? And I am not exaggerating this at any level here. This is not a made-up story, and I'm sure you may have heard about it by now. Okay? But this has been going on for years. Obama allowed these MS-13 admitted gang members into our country. Then he housed them. Then he placed them in our cities around the country. And then now they are chopping up little girls and bashing heads in with baseball bats. And I'm sorry if that's graphic, but that is the truth. This is not a made-up story. This is what is actually going on in America today due to the policies of an anti-American president. So, thanks, Obama. Hey, Obama, do you have young daughters? Do you have teenage girls? Well, anybody else? Let's hope they never encounter your MS-13 friends, Obama. Okay? Let's hope that for your family's sake, you know. I mean, come on. You let all these creeps into our country to kill our people. You're responsible for every person's death that MS-13 is killing in America right now, Obama. I'm calling you out. Fact, in 2015, Obama allowed 10,000 terrorists into America and then allowed them to attain visas. And then mysteriously lost track of 10,000 terrorists who are now in America, embedded in our society, and able to spread their anti-American hate and to recruit from the anti-American Muslim citizens and from the prison systems and so on. Okay? And from the anti-American citizens themselves, who are the resistance and the Antifa. And as we know what their ideology is, folks, we know their ideology is either join, convert, or die. That's it. Alright? Now come on, folks. Come on, people. This was a calculated operation designed to allow the enemy to infiltrate behind enemy lines in order to destroy our society from within. Why was this done again and again, folks? Why? Question mark. I do not believe for 1 minute that these were mistakes. These people do not make these kind of mistakes. Okay, my friends? It's very simple deduction again. 2 plus 2 and all that. Look at the actions of Obama's policies. Look how he allows these people into our communities. It's like that judge I spoke about who ushered the illegal immigrant through the chambers in order to avoid the ICE agent. This is just on a bigger scale. This is what Obama is doing. He's opening the door to flood America with our enemies. This was, again, a calculated effort to usher into America as many enemies as possible before Obama left office. It's very simple. He's an anti-American citizen with the power to do that. And he was the only anti-American citizen with the power to flood our country with the, well, let me rephrase that. He was one of the anti-American citizens. There are more. Let's be honest here. Okay, so it's very easy to see, and we are giving you all the evidence that backs this up. Okay, and there's more to come. We got more, folks. Okay, isn't this again treason? Certainly un-American and anti-American, and I would say yes, treason. So we are factually, if we are factually at war, if we're factually at war with radical Islamic Muslim terrorists who have declared war on America, then we're factually at war, correct? If we're at war with these radical radical Islamic Muslim terrorists, let me get it all in there, who have declared war on America. So we are at war with them. And Obama is ushering them into our country. So again, by those standards and SOP, when we are at war, it is treason to aid and comfort the enemy and to assist them to infiltrate behind enemy lines. This is a violation of the Espionage Act. Fact, in 2016, the Obama administration allowed in another 1,800 more dangerous immigrants due for deportation. And then he granted them citizenship. Okay? I mean, hey, these people are due to be deported. And then, hey, we made a mistake again. Oh, sorry. Oopsie. No, folks, come on. It's a shell game. It's 3-card money. Okay? And then he released them into your community. He gave them visas and released them into your community. And there's ample evidence to show that these people also had ties to terrorist organizations as well. So this again is clear evidence that Obama has a hidden agenda, my friends. It is a fact, okay? Okay, another fact. Obama allowed 150,000 illegal minors to enter the U.S. just between the years 2014 and 2017. Why? Why, folks? And many of these 150,000 illegal minors are now MS-13 gang members. Now, I'm not saying they all are, but there is evidence that proves that many of them are now MS-13 gang members in America killing your children. Okay, thanks, Obama. You're responsible for every child that dies at the hand of MS-13. Okay, Obama? Okay, let's dispense with the niceties. Okay, you're not a good guy here. All right? Everybody thinks you are because they drank your Kool-Aid. Fact. Okay, wait, let's go opinion. Let's go fact, opinion. Okay? Let's go opinion, fact. Everything Obama does is to weaken America and to make America vulnerable to her enemies. And this is designed, it's really designed to level the playing field for the rest of the world. Okay? Now, that's my opinion, but it's also a fact because the evidence backs up my opinion. So, again, he is doing this by also giving billions and trillions of our dollars to our enemies, our adversaries, and our competitors. Okay, so these are the facts. Okay, as in citing fact, the Paris Climate Accord was a boondoggle for the rest of the world, and we get nothing out of it, and it was designed again to weaken America, to put us at disadvantages in energy production, and would give China, India, and others advantages over America and trillions of our taxpayer dollars. Okay, why? Folks, why do we need to give that money and get nothing? Okay? This is a fact, folks, and this is the most unwise agreement ever. Well, except every other deal Obama has ever made to weaken our country, which is the rest of the deals that he made. Pretty much. And again, we'd have to do 10 episodes to go through all of these 8 years. I mean, we may have to do 100 episodes on just Obama and all of his terrible deals. Okay? Fact. Obama, again, made a terrible deal with the communist Cuba. Okay? And then, after doing the deal, he didn't even mention that fugitive cop killer, Joanne Chesimard, and he let her stay in Cuba. Okay? He just let her hang out, drinking her drinks, and he probably had drinks with her. He never even asked about extraditing her because she is a hero to Obama for her killing of a white police officer, folks. Yes, I said it. You see, folks, this is the truth about Barack Obama, our former president. And he did probably have drinks with her. Okay, I would not put it past him. Fact. Obama was a member of a racist church for 20 years, along with his America-hating wife. Okay, folks, come on. Nobody cares about that? That's okay? I mean, what if Trump was a member of a racist church for 20 years? Okay, I already hear you Trump haters. Oh, everything he does is racist. What? What did he do that's racist? Huh? Come on, show me some evidence. Don't just say he's a racist. Give me some evidence like I'm giving you. Alright? Obama was a member of a racist church for 20 plus years. Reverend Jeremiah Wright is definitely a racist, and therefore you have to know that Obama is too. I believe, okay, your mom told you back in the day you are who you hang around with. Come on, it's simple, folks. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Reverend Jeremiah Wright performed the Obama's marriage ceremony. You might say, but his mother is white. That does not matter, folks. There are many half-white, half-black races. Okay, and I would suggest that Obama's self-loathing comes from his whiteness. Okay, now I know I'm going to get a lot of comments here, but listen, folks, I'm just being honest. I'm saying what I see. I'm making observations on the climate of today and how things operate and how people operate, and in this case, how this man operates. And as he hates that part of himself. I mean, it's apparent. Okay? Think about it, folks. Look at his actions and his statements and who he surrounds himself with. Just look and listen. Okay? Now, again, I'm gonna receive a lot of pushback or hate mail, or if I ever get an email, but that's what I'm gonna get. Okay? I'm gonna point this out. He again is like Hitler, who was self-loathing of his Jewishness because Hitler had some Jew in him. Yep, I think about it, folks. It's a scary correlation, but it's one that had to be made. I could not pass the opportunity up. Okay, I want to take a minute right here to point out that I will most likely be viciously attacked for speaking the truth. But hey, you know, this is what I see, and I'm making that correlation that Obama is part white and he hates that part of himself. Hitler was part Jewish and he hated that part of himself, and look at what he did to the Jews. Come on. So let's not lose sight of that, folks. Okay. So anyways, many are going to try to label me a racist after this episode because I have observed and I am recognizing the racist actions of a black citizen and a former president, for that matter. And they will say, hey, you can't suggest that someone black is a racist because you're white and you've never been black, so you don't understand. And so you don't have the right to say anything. Okay, I'm tired of all that, folks. We're going to put that theory to bed right now. Okay? One Eye News is going to crush that theory right now. Okay? Okay, I know this to be true because it's already happened to me. Somebody's already told me that. Somebody said I can't claim that Obama's a racist because I've never been black. What? What? No. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. No, folks. Racism knows no color or pigment, and it encompasses us all. And that's a fact. Anyone who wants to challenge me or debate me on that, bring it on. Because I've been there, and just because I'm not black does not mean I've not experienced racism. Okay, so, and there is no reverse racism. Let's put that to bed right now. There is no such thing. There is just racism. That's it. Common sense again. Okay, I myself have been dealing with racism all my life, and I'm white. So you can do the math from there. Okay, I've dealt with racists that are both white and black. So again, do the math. I told you before in my earlier introduction that my best friend in grade school was the only black kid in my class, and we remained friends. And anyways, his uncle became a big rock star. And then, well, in middle school, I moved to another neighborhood, and then that was another predominantly white school, and I happened to become best friends with another black kid there. So my best friends throughout my entire school career, you know, in elementary and middle school were my black friends. So don't ever try to label me a racist, because I'll go bring those guys up and they can vouch for me. Okay, so I've dealt with both races. I had black friends, so white guys would be racist towards me. I had black friends, and so black people would be racist towards me too. So, hey, look, there are and have been a prevalent push in certain black communities to despise white. And that's just a fact, folks. So I'm going to be the one to point that out. Nobody else seems to be able to say these things, but I'm going to. So it's just a fact. It's the truth, and we got to confront this. So these black communities are teaching, and have been for decades, teaching kids from the jump that whites and cops are the enemy, and that's why we're seeing the Fergusons and these things mushroom and happen. Okay, and so as these kids grow up, they already have a deep hate for whites and cops. Okay? And that's just the ugly truth that no one will talk about. And I know this for a fact because I've been in these neighborhoods and I've seen it firsthand. So you can't convince me that there's anything different going on because I've been there. Okay, so look, this was spotlighted in one of the Die Hard movies when Sam Jackson's character was schooling the youth about who the enemy really was. And that youth was black and the enemy was whites and cops. And so that's an old movie now. But look, it's gotten a lot worse since that movie, folks. And currently, some black folks want to war on whites. And that's just the reality. And the reason they're doing this is for retribution against their relatives that were slaves. Okay? And again, I will point out that I would guess that no other white citizens who are currently alive here in America owned any slaves. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But the fact is, folks, the coin has been flipped. And it is now blacks teaching their children to be racist against whites, while most whites are actually teaching tolerance for any and all races or genders or whatever. And you see it every day. Okay, you cannot deny it. So those are facts. Okay, so if you look at what's happening, like again, I'll cite Evergreen College, where they're excluding white people. There are other colleges that are now have segregated, the black students are segregating themselves from the whites. Okay, so this is prevalent and it's being pushed by the colleges to do so. Okay, and again, that's just a fact. And unless you're an old time, again, while most whites are teaching tolerance, there are certain, not all black communities, but there are certain, and I would say a lot of these are in the inner city, that are teaching their children from a very early age, to hate whites and cops, and that's just a fact. So unless you're an old-time Southern racist, and there are still KKK, and there are neo-Nazis, which most whites and all of America do denounce. So these are the only whites that I see that are really racist. There's some guys here or there that, are stuck in that situation. But, it's time to stop living in the past, folks, and to get a grip on the future, where we can all live together and work together instead of hating, okay? It's a wasted energy. It takes up so much energy to hate, all right? I don't know, call me crazy, but it sounds like a good idea. Again, I don't hate the German people for killing my people. And I don't want anything from the German people. Well, maybe except, hey, don't do that shit ever again, okay? Do not do that again, folks. That's all I'm telling them Germans. Just don't do that stuff again. And we will have a series that spotlights the racial factor currently harming our country. And this will be another explosive episode that will reveal some very ugly facts and truth about the current state of racism in America today. So stay tuned for the truth, folks. One last point on that, I would just like to say, yes, whites did own slaves, but also the black kings also sold some of those slaves to the whites and others, and that is a fact. And also in America, the whites were the slave owners. Nobody can dispute that. And that is reprehensible. And those whites that owned slaves, okay, they were reprehensible. We can agree. Now, let's not lose sight of the fact that it was also whites who were the ones that freed the slaves from those said slave owners. Okay? Let's not lose sight of that fact. Okay? I think that's important, especially in today's climate. So, there will always be some whites willing to die for blacks, and there will always be some blacks willing to die for whites. But there will always be a percentage of both that will always hate and despise the other simply because they were taught to do so. Okay? And until we break that cycle, it's never going to change. So you do not have to be black or brown to have experienced racism and or recognize racism And black or brown do not own exclusivity to calling out racism. So, having said all that, it is a fact that Obama does love some whites, as in the case of William Ayers. I will point that out. And that again is akin to Hitler. Okay, folks, and the Grand Mufti. Remember Hitler and the Grand Mufti. Why would Hitler embrace the Muslims? They're not Aryan. But the Grand Mufti, he was an exception. So racists will tolerate the other if they are aligned with the same long-term goals, folks. But the evidence suggests that Obama is more anti-American than racist because he does use white operatives as well, and he would have to in order to carry out his agenda. He would have no choice. Okay? Fact. Obama supports the Muslim Brotherhood. That is a fact, folks. Another racist hate group that hates America and Americans and preaches hate and death to America. Okay? Fact. Debbie Wasserman Schultz employed agents of the Muslim Brotherhood who were Imran Owan and his biological family members. His brothers, I believe, maybe a sister too. Anyway, who were all Muslim Brotherhood agents. And Obama knew this. Water runs downhill, folks. These people were, okay, come on, folks. These people were sending American taxpayer dollars back to Pakistan and to our enemies, okay? And these so-called IT experts that Wasserman Schultz, again, we talked about earlier, hired, were being paid millions of taxpayer dollars, which is, again, I would say treasonous, because those were enemies of the state. Fact. Obama supports the racist organization Black Lives Matter. Okay? People will argue that, that Black Lives Matter is not racist. And they will try to convince you that they are only trying to do good in America for black Americans. Okay, what a joke, folks. Black Lives Matter is a straight-up racist group. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to tell it straight like it is. We cannot sugarcoat again. Okay, we cannot beat around the bush. We don't have time for all that. Okay? We should all do good for America, not just for black. Okay, again, the founders of Black Lives Matter may have had good intentions. And if they would have kept the positive message, then I would have supported them. But they did not. Okay, I will denote. There are a small percentage of police officers that abuse their power. I do not disagree with that. Okay, and I think that's pretty apparent to anybody if they have eyes. Okay? So I agree with Black Lives Matter in one respect. However, I would also say that those police officers do not simply only target black citizens. Yes, in some neighborhoods that are predominantly black, it is, impossible to target anyone else. So, having said that, if you are, let's say, white trash, for instance, you may be targeted just as much as a black citizen. And I believe there are many white folks that live, in less than advantageous social economic neighborhoods that have experienced the same thing. So, anyhow, it looks like we're going to require just one more segment, folks. And we will tie this up in a nice and tidy bow for you. And I promise you, when you have all of this information, you will have no option but to conclude what we have come to conclude. And that is that we are in a very serious situation with the anti-American citizen movement. Okay, thank you again for tuning in to One Eye News. America's Eye, laser focus on the truth. I'm Johnny D, keeping my eye on the truth for America. Okay, folks, please follow us on Twitter. Contribute at Patreon, share us, like us, retweet us, and help us get the word out. Okay, I'll catch you on the flip side, and again, thank you, America.